The penultimate race of the season and one last shot to secure a spot in the Final Four. Tonight, there's a lot on the line as we take on Michigan International Speedway. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Eliza Bethel alongside Jordan McGraw. Jordan, how you doing out there tonight?
Doing all right, I guess. Ready to watch some high-speed action on the high banks of Michigan.
We talked about it. There's a lot to talk about tonight, how it is the penultimate race. So only one race remains after tonight, and we're going to be crowning a champion. So we're going to have to take a look at the playoff standings a little bit later. But right now, we're headed into qualifying. We have 8 drivers in the playoff. 4 of them will get eliminated tonight. The final 4 will move on at Homestead. We're looking at Brody Falliker. He is one of them here. So let's see what kind of lap times these guys get. Francis Hamilton. Man, Francis has been putting down the qualifying laps lately, just doing a phenomenal job. So it's going to be fun, Jordan, to see what happens here tonight.
Absolutely. The top 4 in the points right now, the top 4 that are in position to moving on to next week's finale to race for a championship, they are in really good position. Those back 4 pretty much in must wins if the front 4 are able to pull off any stage points.
Now, last week we had Justin Anisagak. He won last week at Iowa, so he has secured his spot for Homestead. This is the only driver since the playoffs have started that has secured a spot with a win. So that is the first time. He just gets to relax tonight. Not a lot he has to do, so I know he's happy out there, but I know a lot of these other drivers are sweating and they need a win tonight. It is a must-win situation. And Chloe, I see out there, thank you so much for the sub. 9 months. Thank you, thank you. I hope you guys are doing well out there. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer goes to the top of the board, 39.23. Jarrett Cardwell, he is in second and gets moved down by Francis Hamilton. Brendan Book up to first, 39.20. And Jonathan Jurgensmeyer answers right back, 39.19. And, ooh, Jarrett gets spun going around, but he's already got the fastest lap time. No worries for him, although Jimmy Cocker, he moves to the top here, Jordan.
Yeah, and we were noticing in practice cars really slippery when they're trying to push it. So gonna have to do a lot of work, especially going into turn 1. That's really where you're gonna have to send it and keep that thing underneath you to make up a lot of lap time. Turns 3 and 4 seem to be a little more forgiving, but you're gonna have to make it there.
Goes to show just how fast and how close these lap times are at 39.09. All within a second, all the way up to 15. So extremely close lap times, but Michigan, it is fast, as you guys say in chat here, but I'll tell you what, it does get a little loose. It starts off pretty tight, and from the long run, what I've talked to drivers, it does get a little loose. So we are going to have to watch conditions throughout the night tonight and see what happens. But Andrew Sanford, he is out here. Joe Berg, Joseph Turley, still making a lap. Dylan Robb. We have John Honeycutt out there. Connor Cunningham, who has gotten his first win here this season at Chicago 2 races ago. So great for him. Justin Anisagak, Luke Allen, and PJ O'Leary. So quite a few drivers left to try to put down a time.
Yep, we just had Justin Anisagak put down a lap to move him into 19th, or up into 10th, I should say. And I believe that was his first lap, so he's going to put down another one here, see if that one's faster. The second lap should be a little bit quicker, a little more grip in the tires, a little more heat in them. We'll see if that works out. He goes all the way down to the yellow line, so using all the racetrack he can, trying to keep it low on exit so he can make the front stretch as short as possible. And we'll see where he slots in.
All right.
At the top of the board.
Yeah, no surprise. And remember, no stress for him. He is already locked into Homestead. He has just dominated at the top of the point standings this season after Andrew Wisdom took a break from the league. So it's been great to see that he's been doing so well. And tonight, he might go back-to-back wins here. We'll find out what happens. But qualifying is over. Justin goes to the top of the board, 39.06. Francis Hamilton is going to be on the front row, 39.09. And we are headed out to warm up, which means we got to go over some stuff that's going to be happening tonight. So while we're out here, let's take a look at the track analysis. For Michigan International Speedway, it is 94 laps out here. No faster pairs, has not changed and will not change for this season. Stages. Stage 1 is going to be 20 laps. Stage 2 will be another 20 laps, with the final stage being 54 laps to complete the race. And they will have 4 fresh Goodyear tires to put on throughout the race as they see fit. So, man, it's going to shake things up. I'm kind of concerned about a couple of drivers out here, their chances to make it into the Final Four. And with that, let's take a look at that. Papa Bear, I see you out there. That is Michael Campbell, so a lot of luck to him tonight. Here's the playoff standings. Justin Anisagak, we just talked about him. He's got that win. That's what that checkered flag is up there for. He is locked in to the Final Four. And second, we're going to have Brendan Book. He has 25 points above the cutoff line, so he is looking pretty safe tonight, but that just all depends on who wins and what happens in the race. Brody Fallaker, third. He's got 25 to the good, along with Brendan Book, and John Honeycutt tonight said, "I'm going to win the race tonight." Brody Fallaker responded back, "For my sake, I hope you do. Since John Honeycutt is not a playoff driver, that'll keep Brody very safe." Jimmy Cochran, fourth, 22 points above the cutoff line. Francis Hamilton, the first driver below the cutoff. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, a couple of tough races lately. He moves below the cutoff with negative 35. Luke Allen, must-win situation here, more than likely, negative 40. Josh Taylor, definite win situation here with negative 74. That's going to be your playoff drivers here. Jordan, I have to know from you, who do you think our Final Four is going to be? I love putting people on the spot here.
Well, I mean, I think the safe bet is that the current 4 in will be the 4 once we're done with the racing tonight. But hey, it's Michigan. Anything can happen, especially on these restarts. And we've seen how slick it can be on the cold tires. And you mentioned it can get even slicker as the runs go on. They seem to be wearing the right rear a pretty hefty amount from what we've heard. So it could be a very interesting race, especially if they stay all packed up, which iRacing races at Michigan, they tend to stay pretty bottled up with each other. So anything can happen, but I mean, I think the safe money is that your current 4 in will be your 4 in once the checker flag flies.
Definitely the safe option. There's always that chance that things will get shaken up, especially if we see those cautions come out. And as I say that, we see a couple of drivers getting relatively loose and going off track. So it is something that we're going to have to look at. Let me go back through chat here. Stacka, I see you out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Evan says good luck to all the drivers. 4 will advance. The other 4 is going home in the playoffs. Absolutely. Snow Leopard, Bella Nade to you, Frozen, saying hi. Say hi back to Bella. Really awesome. Ooh, another big one out here in practice in the warm-up. But only a couple of minutes. Well, should say just a minute and 13 seconds left in the warm-up here. And we will get going to Michigan for 94 laps. A new one. It's the 68 car. You see him right here. That's Thomas Harmon. He is normally an admin that does race control out during the race. He decided that he couldn't take it. He loves these tracks and wanted to come out here to race. So here is Thomas Harmon tonight. Great to see him out there once again. So yeah, it's going to be a fun one for sure. See Jimmy Cocker out here second in speed. Brody Falliker third. Thomas Harmon fourth. Francis Hamilton, we've talked about him a couple of times. He has been so fast out here, showing a ton of speed. Currently, Jimmy Cocker losing it right there, but Francis Hamilton, who is on pit lane, yeah, he's shown a ton of promise out here, and it's great to see that moving into the race. We'll see what it does long term. But man, it is going to be extremely close for what we see out here. All right, warm up has commenced and we are going to be headed to the grid here. Let's hide that and get the grid going here. All right. On pole, we are going to have Justin Anisigak for the penultimate race. He sits on pole in that number 4 machine with Francis Hamilton to his outside in the 48 car. Row 2, we're going to have Jimmy Cocker in the 11 with Brennan Book to his outside. And P5 in row 3, it's going to be Jonathan Jurgensmeyer with Philip Bridgman to his outside. Row 4 is going to be Micah Allard in the 61 with Tom Flitcroft in the 8 machine. And in row 5 is going to be Brody Falliker in the 42 car with Luke Allen in that 7.
John Honeycutt starting 11th with Jarrett Cardwell outside of him in P12. Row 7 is Andrew Sanford with Josh Taylor. Row 8 is PJ O'Leary alongside Christopher Karch. Joseph Berg and Matthew Gale make up row 9. Dylan C. Robb will be starting 19th, and Joseph Turley will be 20th.
21st, we're going to have Hunter Johnson in that 30 machine with Thomas Harmon sitting beside him in 22nd. 23rd is going to be Forrest Smith in the 81 with Jose Ruiz in the 24. P24. And 25th, we have Connor Cunningham, who got a win a couple of weeks ago, with Mike Campbell Jr. in that 71, starting 26. And that is going to be your field here tonight. What a field it is. I can't wait to see what they do out here, but let's go down with the field. All right, Jordan, starting off, you know it always gets crazy. People really pushing it. The tires are cold. How do you think this is going to start off? Are we going to see guys just going 2 and 3 wide, or will we try to spread out a little bit?
Well, I mean, they could spread out by going 2 and 3 wide. I really don't know. I imagine this could be a really tame start. I think they're going to try to maybe sort this thing out before going too crazy. At some of these drivers, there's a couple of playoff drivers in the middle to back portion of the field that will likely be trying to work their way forward. So there's going to be a lot of different agendas here on this restart. We're kind of getting to a point in the season where, you know, a lot of guys are going to be racing for points, but a lot of guys are going to be just racing just to take care of their cars so they're around at the end to try to steal some wins before the season's done. So we'll see. I'm kind of curious myself to see how these drivers are going to approach this start.
Absolutely, and we're getting ready to go to the start here at Michigan International Speedway. Here we go, 94 laps, 2 wide all the way through. You can see the guys lit up in blue. That's going to be your playoff drivers as we are already started and off and running.
Yeah, already Micah Allard 3 wide, looking in the middle with the 9 of Philip Bridgman on his outside. So already 3 wide, 4 wide in the back. You can see somebody bouncing off the wall there. I believe that might have been Brendan Book in the 5 car. I think that was that white car that was bouncing off of it. So using all the racetrack they can early as they're coming out of turn 4 to complete lap 1.
Justin Anasagak is leading the field with Jimmy Cocker directly behind. We got nose to tail for Hamilton, Jurgensmeyer, and Book. And then the remainder of the field is going to start with Micah Allard with Philip Bridgman directly behind, side by side with, it's going to be Brody Falliker. So these guys extremely close out there, getting ready to go 3 wide, but they keep it 2 wide currently. It's going to be a very, very close race here at Michigan. And Wint, I see you out there. Thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having a great night.
Yeah, Allard and Bridgman still side by side. Falliker sticking his nose in between, maybe not trying to look, but just trying to find some clean air to help the race car turn, trying to take care of the right front tire. Allard almost comes up into Falliker, keeps it down. They don't make contact with that. Looked like that could have almost been one of the many netcode incidents that we've seen this season with this race car. But Allard once again sends it in deep, going all the way down to the yellow line, but just not able to find the speed off the corner as Bridgman is able to hold him off for that 6th position.
Yeah, that outside tends to get a very good run, and he gets a little nudge, that 61, alongside Brody Falliker. He's going to move to the inside, and this is where it gets extremely loose. You can see Micah really trying to hold on to it. He is going 2 wide here. He's got to bring it up high. Almost gets into that 42. Extremely close, but we are still off and running here.
Yeah, it always works out that 2 drivers that have an incident between them, they always tend to be racing each other the next week. Falliker and Allard getting into a somewhat controversial incident last week. Deemed netcode, might have been some legitimate contact there. Either way, it ended with 2 very wrecked race cars that were completely taken out of the running for the win. But Falliker so far moving forward while Allard seems to be falling back just a tiny bit.
Yeah, a little surprising to see Micah fall back as he is. He's only lost a spot right now in 8th, but normally we see him going up through the field. You can tell he needs some help on that inside, and these drivers right now, they are really, really liking that outside line as they're trying to make it way through. But yeah, just no help from Micah. Meanwhile, Justin Anasagak, he is leaving a little bit of a gap over the remainder of the field over 2nd place of Jimmy Cocker. He's got a great run and a great car tonight, looking to go back-to-back wins. He is in no pressure to make it for next week. He is already one of 4 drivers that could be crowned champion next week. And you can see our top 6 drivers, all playoff drivers, going for that final spot at Homestead.
Yeah, kind of crazy. Most of the field single file, getting kind of spread out here, a little bit different than how I thought this race was going to turn out. The first side-by-side battle is for about the 18th spot, 16th, 17th, 18th. They were 3 wide for a minute with Cunningham, Sanford, and Mr. Excitement Forrest Smith, but they've gotten that sorted out toward the middle back of the field.
Yeah, we're going to see the 81 really shake things up, but I think a lot of, the 40 car gets a little loose down there. The 81 moves up so he doesn't get involved in any shenanigans, but still moving out here. But I think what practice and warm-up taught these guys, Jordan, is that things did get a little loose, and we saw a lot of guys losing it, pushing the issue. This is a very high-pressured race, as it is the penultimate race. So I think these guys are really trying to hold on to their cars, at least for now.
Well, I hope they try to hold on to their race cars the entirety of the event.
You and me
but,
both.
But Cocker looks like he's trying to search around for a little bit of speed, and Asagak taking that easy line down in the yellow, which it's not really the easy line. There's just there's a slight less banking than the rest of the corner. It feels like really slick down there underneath that seam right toward the yellow line, and you can see right there the entire field staying up above that seam through 1 and 2. They're a little more adventurous getting down there in 3 and 4, but that's going to be a place where you're probably going to have to put your car to try to make a move for a meaningful position before this race is over.
Absolutely. You can see these guys going into turn 4. Still nose to tail, a very, very long train that we have out here. These guys just on top of each other. You can see Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in that 00 just on top of Francis Hamilton. Has shown a lot of speed, but long run, he tends to fall back at the last part of the race when a caution comes out. We'll see what happens here, but Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, is that him that keeps disappearing? We see that for him throughout these races, man. Very, very tough. Hopefully he has no issues, as I know he really, really needs to get this win tonight.
Yeah, he's blinking out of existence while trying to battle Brody Falliker for that fourth spot, that third spot, whatever his position that is. Working hard, trying to hold on to that third position. Brendan Book calling out the blinking, and yeah, riding on board. He is disappearing in and out of existence. It's difficult for him. It's difficult for everyone around him. And hopefully that clears itself up.
As a playoff driver, you really hate to see that you're having that issue, but as a playoff driver around that driver, it is extremely scary because you don't know where they are coming back, and it could be like on top of your car wrecking. You can see he's making contact with Jimmy Cocker. That's a scary situation that I definitely don't want to be in, and I know Jimmy Cocker doesn't want to be in that. So we'll see what happens here, but I love NASCAR. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. He says, is this the same package the Xfinity cars ran in real life at this track this year? I know. I know they try to make it as close as possible, but I'm not sure that it's exactly the same. Here we go. Our first yellow.
Saw that happening deep in the field. Not sure how it started, but
not seeing any movement too much. We'll see what's going on here. See if we can find out what happened.
The 67 of the 81 of Forrest Smith loses it. The 67 kind of makes a move to dodge him, gets up into the 40 car and starts to lose it himself, and then gets run over by the 23, who had really nowhere to go to avoid him.
Yeah, 81 just getting loose, and yeah, Jordan called it right there, but these guys just hopefully not a lot of damage for Matthew Gale. We'll see what happens with him, but might have to go in to repair that. We'll see as we come around.
Yeah, I think your worst damage is going to be on the 23 made pretty good contact with the left rear wheel of the 67. That would be what you were worried about on Gale's car. I think the front end damage for the 23 over Rees might be the most significant. We'll have to see how bad that is, if it's bad at all, but he kind of got double tapped in the right front and then square in the nose a little bit toward the left front there.
I don't see anything on his right or left, so he should be pretty solid. We're going to take a look on the right side here. It looks like no damage, so hopefully that is the case. Matthew Gale, that's going to be in that Cookie Monster machine. It looks like he is getting ready to make his way down pit lane, and I, amazingly enough, do not see any damage on that machine either. Couple of takers though.
Yeah, they brought the tanks to the Xfinity
Apparently
car.
Good news for these guys. Tom Flitcroft down pit lane, Luke Allen. We have Jarrett Cardwell, Andrew Sanford, Matthew Gale, Connor Cunningham. So quite a few takers for pit lane. I'm kind of curious, Jose Ruiz, if he's got a lot of damage, but he's already out. So yeah, I think damage-wise, these guys are good to go. Matthew Gale already out and about, which I can imagine that they are happy to see they have no damage. Another interesting fact tonight, Jordan. I know I told you this before the race, but all the drivers talking about in chat how most of them are sick tonight racing. So if we do interview some of these drivers, they may not have quite the voice for it. So it'll be interesting to see. But Justin Anisigak will be leading us back to green momentarily.
Let's see, there's 7, 8 people pitted there. I think a handful of them for damage. Cunningham, I think, might have taken fuel only. The 23 was off pit road pretty quickly, so I think it was relatively minor damage on his car. And the 67 got off even quicker, so somehow I think he managed to make it out of there with relatively unscathed.
First caution of the night. We are in lap 14 of 94. And remember, we do have a stage 1 caution break. Lap 20. Our top 10 drivers will receive the bonus points, with first place receiving 10 points and 10th place receiving 1 bonus point, which I know a lot of these playoff drivers who are below the cutoff line and right above it, they are really looking to secure those points. Very, very important tonight. Joseph Turley still out on pit lane. Not exactly sure what is going on with him, but out he is coming. We'll see if he can't catch up to the field.
Yeah, your first car on fresh tires will be all the way back in 19th here, so I don't think much of a threat for the stage here, but we'll see. We've seen a lot of drivers be able to work their way through the field and win these stages. So, gonna take a superhuman effort, but we'll find out if they can pull it off.
You will find out. We're gonna go on board with Justin Anisigak, our leader. He does have lane choice, and he's decided to hang out down low. Meanwhile, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer going to be up high in that 00. Jimmy Cocker will be behind Justin. Jimmy Cocker in that 11 machine as we are getting ready to go back to green, heading to lap 15.
Green flag.
Here we go, Justin with a nice start. Jimmy, he's going to have to beat that 00 who was blinking earlier. Seems to be under control so far in the remainder of stage 1 here. Hopefully that sticks, but these guys 2 and 3 wide throughout the field, Jordan.
Yeah, that back is looking sketchy. Again, some of those drivers that pit, I imagine a bunch of them did take tires, so or at least a handful of them had to have. So they're going to be a lot quicker than the rest of the field. They're going to be trying to knife their way through, and you can see the 4 wide on the bottom with Karch, Campbell, and whoever that black car is. I can't really tell.
Connor Cunningham, I do
they
believe.
somehow make it work.
Yeah.
Yep, they somehow made it
Connor
work.
Cunningham all over the back bumper of Chris Karch out there. We'll see how much that is going to help him out, but he's going to go 2 wide with the 8. That's going to be Tom Flitcroft, who's currently sitting P15, down 7 spots after he went into pit under caution. These guys, man, they look like they're getting a little crazy. Elbows are out already, Jordan.
Yeah, these restarts are going to be where a lot of these drivers are going to try to make as much ground up as they can. We didn't see a whole lot of passing after about the 5 lap mark in that previous stage. So a lot of these guys are going to be real aggressive here, try to get whatever they can, make up whatever positions they can, because it's going to be real tough to make passes as the tires get worn and as these drivers get in the line and as you get stuck in dirty air.
The tires getting worn with Thomas Harmon. First race out here all season, and he was talking about how much the tires were wearing after just 15 laps. He had about 70% on the rear tire, the front tire. I can't remember what he said, but tire wear is definitely going to be a thing here tonight. But you see, he's currently sitting 11th. He's up 11 spots from where he started, along with Hunter Johnson, who gained 12 spots from where he started. You can see him in that pink machine up in that's 30 car in P8.
Yeah, our top 4 single file. But then from there, a little bit of net code between the 42 and the 61. Contact again between those two. Again, looked like net code, but I doubt that's going to make Micah Allard any happier about it. Looked like the 42 might have come down. Maybe the 61 slid up. I think the 42 maybe trying to make a move to get in between the 5 and the 61. Might have thought he was clear. Maybe the 61 came up. Not really sure what happened there, but yeah, definitely some contact.
Yeah, it's going to get a little sketchy here. The top 6 still playoff drivers. 61 is not a playoff driver, so you know these guys are really just trying to keep it clean. They don't want any cautions being caused. They don't want to be the one doing it or involved. You do get penalized if you are one found at fault for a caution. First one will be an EOL. The second one, I do believe, is a drive-through. If you're seen for 3 in 1 race, you're getting parked.
Oh, the 50 almost lost it coming off of turn 4, and the 3 does lose it. He's going to go down onto pit road, able to keep it off of pit road, get back on racetrack. No yellow, but we have taken the white flag for the stage, and things are getting crazy from in the back of the field.
A battle for the lead out here between the 00 and that 4 machine as we are coming back to the backstretch here going into 3. This will be the win for stage 1. Bonus points will be awarded. Remember, all these guys are playoff drivers in the top 6, so everything is massively important. The 00 moves up a little bit. Contact. He somehow saves it after getting slideways through the corner. Justin gonna take the stage win. It might be Jimmy Cocker in second, 00 in third, Francis fourth, Brody Fallaker in fifth. We have Brennan Book 6th, Micah Allard 7th, Hunter Johnson 8th, Jarrett Cardwell 9th, and Thomas Harmon. Those are going to be your top 10 drivers receiving bonus points for stage 1.
Yeah, I was wondering how much a point would be worth there at the end, and you can see the 00 of Juergensmeyer going for every ounce he could. The 4 of Anesagak giving him as little room as possible, and those two coming together, both making a nice save, doing a nice job of hanging on to it.
Yeah, you know, Juergensmeyer really needs those points. Anesagak, he's safe. I mean, he just is out here for the fun of it, but take a look. Juergensmeyer, -35 below the cutoff. Not a fun place to be tonight, so every point is just so incredibly important. We'll see what happens here, see if these guys go in and take those tires. But going to be an interesting call to see what these guys do going into stage 2. It's going to be elbows out for sure. All right, guys, you've seen stage 1. Let me know, who do you think will win tonight? I know it's early. Anything can happen. We've seen it happen the last couple of races. Very clean races. A late caution, and you know, we see completely different drivers up front than what we saw at the start of the race. So let me know your thoughts. A lot of drivers onto pit lane. Meanwhile, the 00 is just lagging everywhere once again, blinking in and out. But hopefully Francis Hamilton is okay behind him. But we're going to have Justin Anesagak leading us down pit lane. We have a couple of guys staying out. There's going to be Jarrett Cardwell, Tom Flitcroft, Jose Ruiz, and Luke Allen.
It's going to be an interesting strategy for those guys. Those are all people that came in that last time. And yeah, I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work out for them, but I think with only 4 of them, that makes it a lot more difficult, obviously, to hold off those other drivers. I think that's enough laps on the tires for there to be a pretty sizable advantage for the drivers that are coming in right now to pit.
Yeah, 10-lap old tires. Luke Allen is the only playoff driver that has stayed out, as he did go in under caution the last time. So very interesting. He knows he definitely needs a win here. He needs to get some points, and tonight is just becoming much harder as he did not secure any stage points here in stage 1. All right, I'm kind of curious how this restart is going to go. A couple of drivers, 10 lap old tires, and then we have guys on fresh tires. Directly behind it is going to be Justin Anasagak, Jimmy Cocker, Francis Hamilton, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, and Brody Falliker. Also Brennan Book. All of these drivers, playoff drivers who want to get to the top of the front of the field here without any issues. So I'm kind of curious how this restart will go. New racers at the front, Chloe says. Absolutely. It definitely shakes things up. Only one race remains, and whoever it is, they're going to get a nice trophy. We've given out a trophy for every season here on iRacing. Andrew Wisdom gotten a couple of trophies.
I'd be real curious how these drivers, how patient our third row on back are going to be. They know they're going to be a little bit faster. This is an opportunity to try to put an Asagak in the field. He led that entire stage from the pole. This is a good opportunity to capitalize on putting him in a bad position, putting him where he has to take a little bit longer than someone else to work through these 4 cars. I think the 48 is probably going to be real aggressive on this restart. You know, the 11 and the 00 will as well.
Absolutely. I agree with you. A lot of these guys, they have places to go. They're going to be pretty aggressive trying to make it through traffic. They want to be there first. Man, a nice restart for Jarrett Cardwell. He does lead the field, but man, oh man, you can see these guys 3 wide already, and that's going to be for P2. Absolute insanity here at Michigan. 3 wide once again. That looks to be around P10. Hunter Johnson, Thomas Harmon, and John Honeycutt. A couple of those drivers in that range, but man, oh man. Jarrett Cardwell looking strong out here in the lead, but already take a look who's right behind. That's going to be Justin Anasagak. Absolute insanity.
Yeah, the 4 car did the move that I thought the 48 might need to try on him. Got 3 wide right as he crossed the start-finish line on the 23 of Jose Ruiz and has not looked back. And again, this was their opportunity to try to see if they could maybe bury the 4 car behind a few of the other drivers, try to give him something to fight. Well, guess what? He is now back up into the lead by 2 cars over the next driver who took tires on that last yellow flag.
Jimmy Cocker is going to be out here in 4th, and he was the next driver to take those tires, along with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, who's going to go. Looks to be almost 2 wide with Jimmy Cocker, as Jose Ruiz is definitely under attack by these guys in fresher tires. Meanwhile, Justin Anasagak, he's getting away to almost half a second as these guys are battling it out behind him.
Yeah, it seems like the 4 are really pushing hard to get away from these drivers, maybe try to get away from the draft. Don't give them something to tow up, or to use to tow toward him. He's put about 7, 8, 9, 10 car links on the 12 of Cardwell. Meanwhile, Cocker's slowly working around everybody. Him and Jurgensmeyer have both been able to dispatch the 23 of Ruiz, but they are now working on Cardwell. As they are 3 wide and a crash. That's the 2 of Josh Taylor going around.
Luke Allen 3 wide. He's got Micah underneath. He's got Brennan Book out on top there. These guys just going at it, everything that they can. That looks like Hunter Johnson out there in that 30 machine. Just cars everywhere, Jordan. You would think this was the final stage, but no.
Oh.
Stage 2.
Okay, see, looking back at what happened, it looks like the 40 and the 81
61,
got together.
Sideways.
Oh, no.
Sorry, go ahead. He somehow saved it. I don't know how, but they are 3, 4 wide right here. Almost 5 wide. What is happening, you guys? This is crazy. That is going to be for around P10, P9. I don't even know what. These guys are just insane.
Yeah, the 50 of Honeycutt now looking to the outside. They're going to get 2x2 for a little bit, but there's the 93 of Joseph Berg down there. The 7 has decided he wants out of this mess. He is letting everyone go. He does not want to crash that race car here. At this point in the event, you can see the 33 gets loose. Oh, O'Leary into Bridgman. Those two wreck.
O'Leary gets down into the apron. It shoots him up high somehow. No caution out right now, but I know the drivers that were... Here we go. Caution comes out. I know those drivers will not be happy.
Captain Morgan and Diet Coke.
Pure chaos as these guys were just battling for everything they can.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what was happening with the contact that caused him to wreck, and then there was just all sorts of craziness happening while I was trying to watch that.
Hunter Cunningham with a fantastic save, trying to get around everyone, woes it up just in time in order to go down low and miss that wreck. But man, oh man, PJ O'Leary just hitting that apron, moving up into Philip Bridgman. Tough time right there.
And the right front almost off the ground on the 3. He was yanking on the wheel so much.
Yeah, I think his tires will be a little angry after that one. Third caution of the night, 2 for an actual incident, 1 for the stage. See if any driver has to go in to repair damage, but the only driver currently on pit lane right now is going to be Chris Karch for Fluffball Motorsports in that 40 machine.
Yeah, and speaking of Karch, he got up into the 81 off of corner exit, maybe trying to side draft, maybe misjudged where the right in front of his car was on the exit, but he got into the 81. That sent him into the 2 of Josh Taylor, and that is what has left Josh Taylor out of this race. He has disconnected some pretty significant damage to the right front, also made contact with the left front. Possibly repairable, but I believe he has decided to take that thing completely home.
Let's talk to Justin Anasagak and see what's going on with him. Justin, it's Eliza in the booth. How you doing out there?
Oh, I'm doing good.
We seem to have a rocket tonight. You've led a whole bunch, took some tires, and straight away to work on these guys heading into stage 2, making your way back out to the front. How's the car feeling?
A lot better that I didn't put any gas in it. Just to tighten it up just a little bit, and it seemed to help to get away from these guys, even though it was probably like 15 laps in the stage, you know. So I just took no fuel to at least get myself a gap from everybody else.
There's no pressure for you tonight, as you already do have a win and you were locked in. So what's your goal here tonight? Is it to snag another win or just try to get as many points as possible just for fun?
Just to have fun out here. So I know my teammate Amor just got wrecked out, so I was trying to help him out, but he got wrecked. So I'm just out here to have fun, lead a bunch of laps, and hopefully get the win.
All right. Well, I wish you luck tonight. You're looking solid out there so far. Have fun out there.
Thank you.
All right. That was Justin Anasagak, who has done absolutely amazing out there. He's been very solid. We'll see how he goes this time around. But Jared Cardwell doing a phenomenal job out there also. Hanging out, still in second place there, Jordan.
Yeah, he did a really nice job holding on to those positions, able to stay in the second position. Jose Ruiz also did a solid job. He's still in 7th, still has decent track position. I think he's going to try to hold on to it here. But yeah, an excellent job by Cardwell to be able to hold them off. But I think, well, by now the tires may be equalized enough that he can posit some sort of or he can pose some sort of a defense on those drivers and get himself a solid finish at the stage.
Lap 33 of 94. And when we head to lap 40, the end of that will be the end of stage 2 as we will move into the final stage. It's been a fast race tonight. Repeat, I see out there, he says, Rowdy's a smart Alaskan cookie. Yeah. Definitely, he's definitely solid out here in the Xfinity cars. You can tell he just likes these cars, does a great job in them. And Alaska, I can't even imagine the weather out there. It is cold out here. I can't imagine Alaska.
Probably cold.
Maybe. I would think so.
Possibly.
The low line seems to be the line that these guys want to take. So Justin is going to take it once again. He's got Jimmy Cocker once again behind him. A lot of playoff drivers out here in the front. Brody Falliker, who was up in the top 6, he's now restarting P12. See how this goes. Here we
Green
go.
flag,
Back
green
to
flag,
green, the
green flag.
12. Not a great start. It looks like he almost lost it. He's going to get out of the way for the remainder of the drivers. These guys going to go 3 wide as they're making their way through. Jimmy Cocker going to be in 2nd. Brennan Book 3rd. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer 4th. Hunter Johnson 5th. Jose Ruiz 6th. Justin Inesagak, he is still leading this field.
Yeah, just a little spin of the tires, and by little, I mean a huge spin of the tires out of the 12 Jarrett Cardwell. That moves him back to the field just after we were bragging on the job he did. Nasagak with a big lead, but they are looking at 3 wide for the 3rd position. Not quite able to get it, but those 3 all on top of each other. And speaking of all on top of each other, that is a mess back there about around 10.
That is an absolute hornet's nest. These guys 2 and 3 wide. We've already seen them 4 wide tonight, and it looks like they're about to try to do that again. Perhaps that was Forrest Smith down on the apron, and he gets it back up the track, no problem. But man, oh man, these guys just going for every last inch they can tonight. As we are on board with Forrest Smith, he's sitting currently 11th. He snags the 50 in the quarter panel. Around he goes, hard into the wall. The caution comes out.
Fellas, we have got a very, very difficult official this week, so make sure we're minding our P's and Q's.
Cowboy Tech, I see you out there. How you doing tonight? Hope you're doing well. See what kind of mayhem we have. Let's see if we can find out what exactly happened. We'll go on board with Forrest Smith. Get that view out.
Yeah, it just looks like the 50 actually slides up just a little bit. Some net code involved, a lot of net code involved.
I see a lot of net code.
I think the 81 held his line there. The 50 slides up just a teeny bit, and the net code takes care of the rest, and that just creates a massive wreck. The 48 gets by barely, but a lot of other drivers not nearly as lucky.
John Honeycutt had a lot of confidence going in tonight, saying that he was going to win it. Unfortunately, he sits out here on pit lane, and oh my goodness, he's missing tires, Jordan. I don't think that's going to be good for this car.
Yeah, I don't think that's
I don't know where that thing went, but that
Golly.
hood is gone. I mean, he is absolutely destroyed.
Oh, the 37 was on his roof in that wreck at some point. A lot of drivers with some massive damage. The 67 of Matthew Gale involved as well. The 16 of Dylan Robb. So that was a big wreck that I think that'll pretty effectively end the race of about 4 or 5 of our drivers tonight.
Dylan C. Robb, he has no tire along with John Honeycutt. So a lot of these drivers with severe damage, I don't see them coming out anytime soon, and perhaps a race-ending incident here. But let's take a look. Justin Inesagak still leading the field. Jimmy Cocker in 2nd. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer sitting out here in 3rd. Brennan Book 4th, right where he started the race. Hunter Johnson, he has moved up 16 spots. Micah Allard in 6th. Thomas Harmon gaining 15 spots, sitting P7. Brody Falliker 8th. Connor Cunningham 9th. And Joseph Turley rounding out your top 10. All right, let's see. Thomas Harmon, he said, come visit me if you want. So we're gonna bring Thomas Harmon in here in the booth. Thomas, how you doing out there?
I'm doing all right.
We've seen you have quite the race, getting 15 spots. How's the car handling feeling, and how is it trying to get through traffic?
It's a little scary, especially when you haven't done it in a while. And I'm just hoping that I can hold on to it to the end at this point.
Your first race back, and you said you haven't raced in 3 weeks. I know you said you're hoping to hold on to it to the finish here, but do you think we'll see a top 5 out of you tonight?
If we can get a long run, definitely.
All right, fair enough. Well, I wish you luck out there. It's fun seeing you back out on track, and that pink paint scheme is very pretty and very shiny, but good luck out there.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, you heard it there from Thomas Harmon, first time out this season as he has been race control. Tonight, race control is going to be Brian Pizzakimi, who has joined us the entire season as race control, and Matt Burgess. So thank you so much to those guys for putting in the time with us on their Monday nights. We very much appreciate it. All right, you guys have seen the shenanigans that go on these restarts. Crazy guy, crazy toes, more like crazy field. See what happens. You see Hunter Johnson taking a peek out on the low side. Those drivers with the light blue nose, they are the playoff drivers, so there's going to be a lot of battling as we go back green here at Michigan International Speedway. Lap 30, coming to 39 of 94, and we're off and running once again. A couple of drivers out. We'll see what happens, but already almost 3 wide as we head into the first corner here. That's going to be the 68, the 61, and the 5.
Oh!
Going to be some contact between these guys. Jordan, did they save
Able
it?
to hold on to it. Yeah, they saved it somehow. I don't know how in the world they did that. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. The thing looked like I don't know, maybe the 61 or the 68 slid up into the 61 a little bit. Couldn't really tell, but they somehow got away with it.
I don't know if you saw what I saw with the physics here, but we had cars going through each other and just wild times out here on the sim.
Yep. And side by side for the lead. Speaking of wild times, is Jurgensmeyer battling a little blinking situation. He was able to get alongside an Asagak, but the 4-car able to use that high lane to defend and maintain that lead using the run off of turn 2. Put a pretty solid gap on the 00. Now the 00 trying to mount another charge to get that lead back.
Yeah, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, I mean, when he comes out here, he's got a phenomenal car. Just a lot of bad luck in the last couple of races, which has absolutely devastated his chances to get to Homestead. But another caution. I don't know what's going on here tonight, but man, oh man. Let's take a look, see if we can find out what exactly happened. Go on board here and let's see.
Oh, it's the end of the stage. That is the end of the stage.
I was gonna say, I don't see anything.
That is Justin Anasagak sweeping our stages this evening, followed by Jurgensmeyer, Hunter C. Johnson, Jimmy Cocker, and Brendan Book.
There you go. The remainder of the field is going to be Brody Falliker in 6th, Micah Owler, Joseph Turley, PJ O'Leary, and Francis Hamilton. That is the end of stage 2. These guys will get bonus points for being in the top 10, with our first place finisher going to receive 10, our 10th place going to receive 1 point. Yeah, you guys, I was so excited about the racing, I totally forgot about the stage. Absolutely crazy. Henson, I see you out there. Hope you're doing well. Cowboy, I know. Evan, almost a crash. I don't know how they saved it, but huge props to all those guys for saving it, because that was pretty wild.
I, for one, was frightened for their lives.
I was too. I'm not going to lie. It got a little crazy out there, but we're heading into stage 3, which that means one thing. Aggression is going to pick up We have a lot of playoff drivers. Only 4 can make it into Homestead. We have 8 drivers going for that spot. You can see him out there in blue on the ticker. Luke Allen being one of them. We have Justin Anisigak, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Francis Hamilton, Jimmy Cocker, Brennan Book, Luke Allen. Who else? It's moving so fast. Brody Falliker. So, yeah, quite a few drivers. Josh Taylor. Unfortunately, he is out, so his chances at making it into the Final Four, unfortunately, have been squashed here.
Yeah, it's a lot of the same drivers that we saw attempt the strategy earlier to stay out. Francis Hamilton currently going to be your race leader. One of our playoff drivers, a guy who's looking to make some noise tonight, steal a victory, and put himself into the Final Four. Had a nice qualifying lap, but was able to start on the outside of the front row. Has been somewhat quiet since then, but now he's put himself into a position to make a little noise with that sprint restart, taking some tires, and we'll see what he can do with it.
All right, speaking of Francis, let's bring him in here in the booth. Francis, it's Eliza. How you doing out there?
I'm doing well.
You are showing so much speed in these last several races. It's been so fun to watch. We've seen you up here tonight already. How are you feeling out there? And what do you think your chances are to make it into the Final Four?
Well, I'm feeling cautiously optimistic. A couple laps on tires here. I don't think it'll hurt me too bad. Hopefully hang on into some track position and yeah, not get sick because I'm really sick.
I know so many drivers are always talking about that. I hope you feel better, but man, oh man. Hopefully this race can take your mind off of it for a little bit. But, man, you're looking solid. I can't wait to see what you can do, but good luck out there.
Thank you.
All right, that was Francis Hamilton for FIWB. And my, oh my, there's quite a few drivers in that FIWB. A total of 8. I do believe they have Chevy and Toyota, as we only allow 4 drivers per team.
And he sounded awful, that poor guy.
I feel a little bad just getting him in here because I know a lot of those guys are sick. Pretty much that entire team. I don't know if they all got together or what.
Yeah, on top of the jinx, now you're straining their voice. I mean,
I'm sorry, Francis.
Borderline torture.
Hopefully it's worth it for them. I hope he has a good race, but man, aggression is going to pick up. We're heading into the final stage, 5th caution of the night. 2 or 3 of them for an incident. 2 of them is going to be for stage cautions. Hopefully we see no more out here and we just go green flag racing. But Michigan is loose, is tight and loose all at the same time. Just depends on the part of the run you're on.
Yeah, we'll have exactly 50 laps. Not sure what the fuel number ended up being, but we'll see how this pans out as we get to it. And they're about to go green. We're gonna have a mix of tire strategies up at the front. This should be exciting.
Here we go. They are back to green and
Green flag.
not a great. Yeah, here we go. Francis Hamilton. He gets on the move, and I thought they went a little bit ahead of time, but Luke Allen right behind Jose Ruiz. Gonna follow suit behind that 7 machine. We have Joseph Turley, Joe Berg on the outside. These guys off and running, but Francis Hamilton just hoping to get away from everyone and keep that car clean.
Oh, knifing around the 93, trying to put it 3 wide between the 4 and the 7, is able to do so. We'll see what kind of a run he's able to get. Hamilton able to hold them off. Now the 4 on the bottom of the racetrack. See that car try to slide around a little bit. The 93 slides up the racetrack. They're able to all save it, but the 4, he is side by side with Hamilton coming off of turn 4 at the start-finish line. It is Hamilton by a nose with Hunter Johnson trying to find a way around both of them.
Justin Anisigak, I don't know where he came from, but here he is back to the lead as they go side by side. Francis hoping.
Oh, the 30's losing it.
Ooh, that's going to be Hunter Johnson. He's going to fall back from that one. Currently sitting P7, but great save by him. Justin Anisigak still in the lead. Francis Hamilton going to fall in line behind Jonathan Jurgensmeyer and that double O gonna be in third. Micah having a solid run tonight too. He gains 3 spots. He currently sits P4.
Yeah, once again, Nasagat getting a good restart. Hamilton was a lot lower than some of our previous drivers to take the green flag on a restart. That actually helped that inside lane defend a little bit better from when the 4 was able to take it 3 wide before they even got to turn 1, but still able to work his way through the field and take the lead and now put himself a pretty sizable gap. But the 00 of Jurgensmeyer has been able to follow him all the way through, he's going to have a long way to go, but he is now in position to try to make a run.
48 under attack, and this time it is by Micah Allard, who is going on the inside. He's going to keep it nice and snug, try to get some of that side draft off of him as the 48.
Oh, the 7 is in the wall.
Let's take a look. Still trying to keep it off the wall here. Man, just such a hard night for Luke Allen here. He really, really needed that win, and I just don't see it I don't see it happening for him tonight. So really unfortunate.
Yeah.
He falls back to 22nd.
Ooh. Yeah, he turned down into the 5 of Brendan Book. I think he was expecting Brendan to turn into the corner a little bit earlier. Brendan did seem to be going a little bit straighter. Like, I think he was going to try to run the higher lane, but he was nowhere near clear of the 7. So, either he was trying to force Luke Allen to run really high, or just I don't know. That was just a very bizarre thing to happen there.
Yeah, I think he has retired. He moved it into pit lane. Not sure if he has retired, but we'll see if he is able to come back out. But on board with Jose Ruiz, he currently sits P13. He's got the 11 car. Jimmy Cocker directly in front of him. They're making their way around, but Jose kind of falling back a little bit as these guys on that restart really trying to take advantage, use those tires a little bit. We're on lap 50 of 94. Hopefully we can get a long green flag run that is really going to start to separate these drivers.
Yeah, the 61 has not been up this high pretty much all race. He's been kind of beaten and battered around by several drivers, but here he goes, finds himself in P3. He was shoving the 00 down the back straight a couple of laps ago. Really working hard in that position. I bet he's going to try to save some tire here. I don't know what the 00 strategy is, but it looks like the 4 is just trying to get as much of a gap as possible.
We'll see how much tire he does use up trying to do this, but almost just under a second and a half is going to be Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in that 00. So if he can get these 2 battling, that's really going to help him out. But I'll tell you what, Justin, he really has to take care of those tires.
Caution, sorry.
Meanwhile, we
caution.
do have our 6th caution of the night. It looks like Philip Bridgman, Joseph Turley involved. Let's take a look. We can find out what happened here. Ooh, a nudge by Matthew Gale into that 97 is going to get him a little loose, and it looks like Philip Bridgman might have been a whole separate thing. He was just trying to avoid that 97, so that's where he went down low. Bringing out yet another caution in this final stage.
Yeah, we've seen several of those tonight. We've only had a couple of really massive wrecks, but we've had a lot of the, spins that get a couple of guys all sorts of crossed up, and I think we're going to see a lot of that tonight.
I think so. Michigan, it's loose, it's tight, it's very tight racing, so it's bound to happen. A couple of drivers were saying before tonight's race, saying this has the potential to be kind of a caution fest. If you let it, it's just incredibly loose down low, and some of these drivers, when you're going 3 and 4 wide, not a lot of wiggle room, and we're seeing the remains of that happening here. Real, what's up? I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for the biddies. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well out there.
That was an impressive save by the 9, and honestly a good job of the 97 to minimize the damage, not get hit by anything. A lot of drivers making some good choices there to not make that a worse wreck than it possibly could have been.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Pete, you asked about John Honeycutt. We talked about him earlier. He was involved in an incident, and
He went firewall deep.
He sure did. He was missing a couple of tires and a hood, and he is no longer in the race, unfortunately. So no win for him tonight. Did not go the way he planned. We'll see what happens at Homestead, though. I feel like he just needs to not say that he's going to win tonight, because every time he says he's going to win that night, he wrecks out that night. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's happened every time he said that. All right, Jordan, a couple of drivers stay out. Justin Inisagak, Hunter Johnson, PJ O'Leary, Forrest Smith.
Kind of surprised at the number that came in. I wonder if that's close to their fuel number, or if they want to just make sure that that's where they want it to be, or what, or if they think the tires matter enough here that they think it can work, or if they're just that desperate to do something to offset this 4-car who has pretty thoroughly dominated the evening.
Very interesting indeed, but Justin Inisagak gonna lead us back once again, and he's just had such a strong car, and here he does have a win. So he is already going to be out there at Homestead. He's just here trying to get a win for the fun of it. And, I mean, why not go for another win if you can? So definitely he will be trying it. He does so well in the Xfinity cars. You can see such a change from the next gen to the Xfinity. So I don't know what we're going to run next season, Jordan, but either way, it should be fun.
I don't either, but there are a lot of drivers coming in to top off their fuel here. So I think a lot of these guys really close to the fuel number. I think it's very ambitious to think we're going to go green here from what we have seen so far this evening. We've had a yellow flag pretty much every 10 laps, every 5-10 laps. So I think I don't see us going green all the way, but I mean, a lot of drivers attempting a strategy to try to steal a race if we do.
Our last couple of races have been very, very clean, and we've had some nice long green flag runs, but tonight it just seems that the conditions are ripe for those cautions. We've seen a couple of drivers get very, very loose and save it, but man, I don't see this being our last caution of the night. We're definitely going to see another one here, especially as aggression picks up and all these playoff drivers going for that final 4 spot. We have 8 of them, and there's only 4 spots, so you know that these guys are going to be elbows out completely for these remainder 40 plus laps. Here we go, getting ready to go back to green once again. Drivers lining up. That high side seems very, very short, I'll tell you. Ooh, wrong one.
Yeah, that's because everybody that pit making that bottom line very, very long as they were not allowed to double up. Very interesting to see that Asagak choose the outside lane there, but it was able to prevail. He's able to get down into the lane that he wants, the 30 of Hunter Johnson, who we saw almost lose it a little bit ago. Now he has another opportunity, but there he goes getting loose again off of turn 2 as they work down the backstretch into turn 3.
Justin just with a nice lead, almost a half a second out here. Meanwhile, we have 3 wide for P3, and that's going to be Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, PJ O'Leary, and Forrest Smith. 2 of these drivers have been involved in an incident tonight, so we'll have to keep our eye on these guys, see what's going on out there. But they are down to 2 wide, and then we're going to have Thomas Harmon in the mix, Brendan Book behind, Tom Flitcroft. These guys are all over the place, Jordan.
Yeah, they're all over the place. That it feels like the field might have been thinned out by now, but we only have 3 drivers completely out of this race. So right now, it's a pretty tame restart compared to the most of them, but none of them have been tamed by normal standards. So it's in a vacuum, a really crazy one.
A very crazy one indeed, and a crazy crossover from that 30 machine almost tags that 00 as these guys just crossing each other over, but they are 2 wide for P2 and still going on for the battle. This is Jonathan Jurgensmeyer and Hunter Johnson in that 30 machine. Absolutely intense, but Jonathan Jurgensmeyer still out front. He is a playoff driver. He has to do well tonight. He has to hope his competitors don't do well. The 30 car, he is a part-timer. So I know Jonathan Jurgensmeyer is hoping he's going to cut him some slack tonight.
Jurgensmeyer making some nice progress through the field, able to dispatch Hunter Johnson now, trying to get back to Justin Anasagak, the driver who's been racing most of the night, the driver that this field has been chasing tonight, as they are 3 wide back around 8th.
Forrest Smith, PJ O'Leary, Micah Aller. We just saw these drivers 3 wide not too long ago. The 8 trying to give him some draft help to that 61. 8 almost moves up into the 33, has to fall back just a bit. These guys trying to find every position that they can as they are battling throughout the field. Forrest Smith currently 7th. He gained 16 spots so far here tonight.
Yeah, and all these cars just look incredibly unstable through the center of the corner, and especially on exit, just really having to work to keep that rear end underneath them off of the corners.
Yeah, I agree. These guys do not look like very confident throughout the field. And Brody Falliker, he's currently P8th, getting into the hornet's nest of what is in front of him. These guys 2 and 3 wide, and he is currently 2 wide. That is going to be with the 81 of Forrest Smith, who has seen a ton of action. The 33 going to give a little nudge to that 42, but Brody Falliker, yet another playoff driver, he needs to do well tonight to keep that spot. Chloe, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good night out there. Oh, take a look at this battle for the lead. The 00 and the 4 machine. 00, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer just dives it down low, and he is going to take over that lead, but we're going to have Anasagak. He's going to tuck in behind. I guarantee he's going to try to answer that back.
Yeah, nice move. The 4 not going to be content to ride there behind him, now going up in the high lane, trying to get some clean air on that race car, going all the way up to the wall. A lane we haven't really seen anyone run tonight, a lane that has that does in other vehicles tend to work around here, but we haven't seen it very much. But going up there, looking for some clean air, not really worried about the tire wear for sure.
That could be an issue, though, but Anasagak hoping that another caution comes out if he's going to continue to run up there. That gap closing down a little bit. It was almost up to 0.3 of a second. Now he is directly on his back bumper here, just almost a 10th back. So very, very close, and he's going to make some work out on that high side still yet again.
Yeah, it's a good a massive crash in the back. Huge wreck.
I heard some tire squealing. PJ O'Leary, Joe Berg, Andrew Sanford, all involved. Let's take a look, see what we have. Oh man. 93.
Oh, the 30, yeah. The 33 comes down the racetrack. It looked like he got maybe a little bit loose, some pretty serious net code, but I think he was going to get the right rear anyway. Into the 93 of Berg, barely misses the 81 of Hamilton, but the 12 of Cardwell involved. Those 3 are
absolutely
dunzo.
Brutal. Andrew Sanford out there, so those 3 cars just totaled. That 33, this is going to be a second incident that he is involved in tonight. PJ O'Leary, really unfortunate to see, but man, the net code out here on the sim recently is just awful.
I apologize for laughing, but watching the 37 get into that wreck from half a corner away, I don't know why. I apologize. It should not have made me chuckle, but it did.
Take a look, Andrew Sanford.
Actually, really not a lot he could have. I don't know. That's a tough angle. Can't really get on the brakes because they'll really jack you loose. So, kind of unfair to laugh at it, but it's just tough.
PJ O'Leary,
Yeah,
definitely
you can
have
see.
to fix that.
I think. Yeah. I think he got on the brakes and it got loose and he had to get off of it. That's kind of what it looks like happened there. So, but just unfortunate. 4 cars with some massive damage at this point in the race.
We're going to see a lot of drivers that are going to be out of this race. And Evan says, whoa, what a crash. You're telling me that was absolute insanity. And when these guys crash, man, some of these wrecks are just insane with how much damage they are causing. I mean, tires completely missing, hoods completely gone. But these guys coming back out. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer going to come out first. Thomas Harmon going to be in second. Brennan Book third. Micah Allard in fourth. Brody Falliker fifth. Francis Hamilton sixth. Jimmy Cocker seventh. Tom Flitcroft eighth. Joseph Turley ninth. And Jose Ruiz going to round out your top 10. Couple of new faces out here in the top 5, Jordan. Kind of curious what we're going to see as we head back to green, but let's take a look. 11 lap old tires for our top 3, yeah, our top 7 or so, 8. Taking tires about 10 or 11 laps ago. Some of them have topped off. That's going to be Micah, Brody Falliker, Francis Hamilton, and Jimmy Cocker.
Interesting. Very interesting to see. It looks like the 4 maybe on a similar strategy. Did he take tires there?
That I cannot tell, unfortunately.
The 4 did take tires, yes. So the 4 of Justin and Anasagak has fresh tires.
All right, we'll see what that does as these guys making their way around, going to be lining up 2 wide. He's currently P12. That's going to be Justin Anasagak. Hunter Cunningham going to be 11th. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer seen up here all of tonight. Been out in the top 5, I would say. Thomas Harmon. This will be the first time we've seen him in the top row. So we'll see what he can do. As he said, he has not raced in 3 weeks. So what can he do out here tonight?
Well, hopefully not crash. But yes, definitely that an interesting group. We've seen the 00 up front. A lot of them out. We've seen the 5 kind of around the top 5. The 61 has made some noise here recently around the top 3. So we have some fast cars up there. And again, we have the 68 attempting to play spoiler this evening after getting out of race control all week. We unlocked the cage and let him come out and see the daylight for one day of the year. And so far, he's put himself in a good position.
Yeah, he says he feels good, and we'll see what happens. He's going to be on that inside row. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer on the outside. 65 of 94. This race has gone fast, but man, we still got a ways to go here.
Green, green, green.
Jonathan Jurgensmeyer with a nice start. The 68 going to be right behind, getting a nudge from that 5 Michign. Off and running, but man, it looks like we're going to go 2 and 3 wide here behind, and that was going to be the 3. And looks like, yeah, 8, the 11, the 3, all of these guys trying to find their spot in the track, and that 3 just making huge moves, trying to go through the field.
Yeah, I think the 3 only took fuel on that restart, or on that yellow flag, so really surprising to see how much speed he has compared to everyone around him on this restart. But yeah, he's making some nice moves, able to work his way through that extra fuel, maybe loosening the race car up. I don't know if that's exactly what you want, but yeah, that seems to be what is happening
He
here.
was 3 wide, and he had Brody Falliker right above him. And speaking of loosening things up, he was on the apron. You can tell he started to lose it, had to let off so he didn't get up into Brody. Lost a couple of spots, but he's trying to make his way back through the field. He does have a win here in SnB this season, just from a couple of weeks ago. So a great run for him so far tonight. How about that lead from Jonathan Jurgensmeyer? He's got a nice gap over P2. That's going to be about almost half a second. That's going to be Thomas Harmon in second. Brennan Book, Micah Allard, teammates for C Motorsports. They're going to go 3 wide, it looks like, and that is going to be Justin Anasagak on the outside. We're going to have Tom Flitcroft get very, very loose. He tries to bring it back up on track, but man, nice save from that 8 machine.
Yeah, nice save out of Tom Flitcroft. The 4 already, after restarting in the teens, has already been able to work his way up into P2. So those fresh tires really working for him. On this restart, he's on the outside of the 68 of Harmon, trying to take that second spot away. Once again, the leader on the restart able to pull out to a nice lead that just slowly starts trickling away. But I think in the case of this 4 car, that's just too much speed, too much grip in those tires, and he's going to make short work of the 00.
Nisogak goes down low to try to make a move here. We'll see what Jonathan Jurgensmeyer does. He just lets him go by, and there's not much you can do when he's already down there. He's going to fall back in line P2. Thomas Harmon in third. Micah, he's got the 68 under attack. He's trying to make a move, and that's going to be for P3. We'll see what he can do out here.
Yeah, the 4 is the only driver that's really made a ton of progress through the field of those that took tires. So a nice restart. He's winning his strategy by a mile, and there is an accident in the back. Big contact into the inside wall.
Cocker involved, Philip Bridgman. So unfortunate. Let's see if we can find out what exactly happened out here.
Yeah, Jimmy Cocker had done a nice job dodging the previous caution. This time, not so lucky.
Ooh, the 9 car just brings it down low. I don't know if he didn't know there was a driver down there, but nowhere for Jimmy to go there. He goes into the inside wall. He is a playoff driver. I'm kind of curious, Jordan, how that will affect his run to get into the top 4 here.
Yeah, not sure how the points stand as they are running. I think he's gotten some pretty good stage points this evening, but would have to look over all that and check, and I don't have the mental capacity to do that at the moment. But yeah, it just looks like the 9 did not realize that there was a car on the inside, and he tried to get across the 81, and yeah, big contact for the 9, really heavy contact for the 11. I think the 9's engine was completely blown, but the 11 able to continue.
Definitely have to go in and get that car repaired. You can see him out there on pit lane. Hopefully we'll see him back. Hopefully not a lot of laps down, can catch back up. Justin Anisagak going to be leading the field. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer second. Micah Allard in third. Thomas Harmon fourth. Hunter Johnson fifth. Brennan Book sixth. Francis Hamilton. Some of these guys going into pit lane. So Francis, Brody, Connor, Jose, a lot of takers down pit lane.
Yeah, a lot of takers. This is not the yellow that the 4 car wanted to see, I don't believe. But a lot of the drivers that were still on old tires stayed out there. The 00, the 61, the 68, the 30, the 5. A lot of these guys that were, or maybe not the 30, I can't remember, but the 5 was out there. So a lot of these guys that did not take tires on the previous caution still out there on that strategy, still attempting to leg this out. I have to imagine they are anticipating at least one more caution flag, and based on the racing that we have seen tonight, I think they will be correct.
I think so, absolutely. Anisagak, 8-lap-old tires. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Allard, and Harmon, all 19-lap-old tires, along with Brendan Book, who sits P6. So a couple of different strategies out here, and we saw a lot of different strategies out last week at Iowa. Some drivers trying to hold on to it as far as like fuel goes in tires, and we saw Anisagak, he ended up winning it for a second win of the season, so that locked him in. We'll see what happens tonight, but he's had some very interesting strategy calls throughout the season. Some have worked out, some not so much. See what tonight does.
Yeah, and these races are just so difficult to call the strategy when there's yellows that are throwing the momentum out of sync for these guys. You can't really get a read on when the race is going to go green. You're just trying to predict how the race is going to go from each point, and you're just trying to set it up so that last yellow flag, you're the one with the fresh tires, you're the one with the track position, and you're the one who's in the best position to win the race.
These guys lining up double file, getting ready to go back to green as we come 74 to 94 as we head to green. That top row, there's a lot of aggressive drivers up there. Fast, aggressive drivers. You have the 30, you have Micah, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Justin Anasagak, Thomas Harmon, all very, very fast drivers. I'm kind of curious how this restart will go. We have Mike Papa Bear Campbell in the top 10, Forrest Smith sitting 8th, Tom Flitcroft in 10th, and then Francis Hamilton going to be on the outside looking in of that top 10. So some very fast cars out there.
And we've been whittled down to about 18 cars on the lead lap. I think maybe 16 of them are competitive. So we're starting to run out of cars to wreck.
All right, here we go. Getting ready to go back to green. You can see these guys on top of each other as we get ready. 61 gets a little loose as he's coming back to green. A little bit of tire there. The 4 car, nice restart for him. You see Micah directly behind. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer going to fall back in 3rd. The 68, 2 wide with Hunter Johnson in that 30 machine.
Yeah, Micah Allard with probably one of the best restarts we've seen in comparison to our leader this evening, but even still, a car length, 2 car lengths back of the 4 of Justin and Asagak as they're going to head off into turn 3. Allard going to run just a little bit lower, now staying in his tire tracks as they go around that first seam, staying off of the lesser banking in that bottom row, that lesser grip. They're going to come off of turn 3, and the 4 starting to increase his lead just a little bit as the 61 trying to shorten up the start-finish line. Can't tell if he wants to draft or if he wants the shorter way around. But anyway, the 4 car continues to lead.
Hunter Johnson and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, these guys were 2 wide. Hunter Johnson, he comes out in front of Jurgensmeyer, sitting P3. And we are on board with Micah taking a look at this field behind. And man, oh man, a lot of movement throughout. And you can just hear Micah's tires just squealing. I mean, you can tell how loose this track is. You can see Hunter Johnson get loose behind him, but they're still holding on to it.
Yeah, and they're 3 wide at the start-finish line between Flitcroft, I believe that's the 67 of Gale, the 42 of Falliker. Those guys all over the racetrack, really loose right now for the 8 of half a lap ago. Still trying to maintain that position, and they are still 3 wide now. The 42 able to clear them both. It is just the 67 and the 8 as the 12. I thought he was going to try to stick his nose in there, but he didn't.
Very, very tight racing here. You see the 12, the 97, 2 wide, the 67 and the 8 also 2 wide. The 23 trying to follow right behind. So incredibly close. These guys just squeezing each other, but Brody Falliker really needed to get around that, and now he's involved with several other cars. They were almost 3 wide right there, but we'll see if he can't make his way around. He is a playoff driver. He needs those points, and we see Francis Hamilton in that 48 right in front of him.
48 of Hamilton had a nice restart here. He is working his way up into the top 5, or at least attempting to, trying to complete this pass of Forrest Smith. I think he's another driver on fresher tires in relation to the field, but he is kind of stuck where he is. The 42 thought about going with the 48. Now he is going to push him around the inside of the 81, but still not quite clear as they head off into turn 1. Now the 48 is clear, but the 81 going to have the momentum off the quarter. Is Hamilton going to shut the door on Smith?
Single file line for these drivers. Francis Hamilton, Forrest Smith, and then Brody Falliker. These guys still trying to make a move. Brody, again, needs to get up there. He's P7. He was pretty secure going into tonight, but anything can happen. He just needs to get past any chaos and try to make it to the front, and he makes his way past that 81. That puts him P6. Francis Hamilton 5th, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer 4th, Micah Allard out there in 3rd, Hunter Johnson 2nd, Justin Anasagak almost a second ahead of Hunter Johnson. Here comes Jimmy Cocker out here. You can see still some damage on that left front of his machine.
Yeah, the wounded 11 car, they go around it. He's just trying to make laps. He goes a third lap down now, so his chance at a win tonight is over. Now he's just trying to secure every point he can. He's hoping that there's a bit more attrition in this race to give him a few more points, bolster that points lead he has in case he needs to beat somebody, anybody, to get into that final four. But it's starting to get a nice mix-up here for the third position. Micah Allard is going to lose that spot to Francis Hamilton, and it looks like the 42 is going to follow him. Nope.
Nose to tail from these 4 spots. Micah looks like he's trying to take it down low, just does not have enough momentum. The 42 going to take it up high. We'll see if he can't make the move. These guys have had a couple of incidences lately, and tonight is no different, but they make it through. A lot of net code. But yeah, so far they are just fine. Brody Falliker up to 4th, Micah 5th, Francis Hamilton in 3rd.
Yeah, meanwhile, the 30 of Hunter Johnson, he is reeling in the 4 of Justin Anasagak. Not sure what kind of a challenge he's going to be able to pose once he gets there, how much tire he's using, how much tire he has compared to that 4 car, but he's making some really good lap time, putting half of that car's nose in the clean air, really loose off of corner exit, but able to still maintain a decent run. Use the toe down the front stretch to try to stay in touch with that 4 car as he's a car length back going into turn 1.
Gaining some time as they head into the corner. We'll see what kind of run he gets off here. Goes onto the seam pretty loose as he's trying to come up. Almost hits his left rear there. Very, very tight. These guys give me a heart attack, I swear, when I see that. It's just hard to know, Jordan. Maybe you can tell us, when you're out there driving, you know the net code on these things. How close are you willing to cut it on a driver to get that edge out?
Oh, I mean, it just all depends. I mean, instinct takes over, and you think you could put your fender on another guy's, rear quarter panel, and, next thing you know, y'all are making contact and crashing. It's tough. You gotta do what you can to make ground, make lap time, make passes, but at the same time, it is this kind of specter hanging over everything that that you can't really allow to spook you from making aggressive decisions. But it's there in the back of your mind. Is that 30 car he looks very unstable. The 4 looks very stable. That's, I think, the difference right now in how Justin Anasagak has been able to hold on to this lead.
Yeah, that might be the difference too, between the low side and that high side, and how hard Johnson is driving that machine. But man, oh man, he was really pinching him up high. I mean, he was even making a little bit of contact, pushing him up further than the track, and there was literally nowhere for that 4 to go. So Hunter Johnson saying, hey, I'm willing to trade some pain out here to get this win tonight. And Justin Anasagak is just chilling on that high side saying, do what you got to do, but I'm here for another win, and I'm not here to wreck.
Yeah, and we're coming to 10 to go, and it looks like it's going to be real difficult for that 4 car to lose that lead. But the 48 and the 42, those 2 drivers are going to work with each other, I feel like. I think the 42, if he could help that 48 get a victory, I don't know if he would, but he might, given where they stand in the points. But those 2 cars, those FIWB cars, are flying at the moment, and they have completely changed the complexion of this race, as the 30 of Johnson and the 4 of Anasagak, them racing as hard as they are, has slowed down their pace and let these other 2 drivers into the hunt.
Absolutely. This is really starting to heat up. And Signature Esports, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. Hope everyone is doing well. Ooh. Wild Boy, I see you out there. Hopefully better luck for Reese. He was involved earlier. But man, 3 wide right here. Justin Anasagak. We have Hunter Johnson and the 48 machine. We will see if Brody's going to help him to a win. He has to get this win tonight. These guys are so incredibly close. Justin getting loose on that outside. This is a 4-way battle for the lead.
Yeah, big bump draft out of Falliker. Almost turns Hamilton. Hamilton able to hold on to it. This is where he was able to make a little bit of ground on the 30. Meanwhile, the 4 of Anasagak, he is faded back to the 4th position. Is he taking it easy on these tires to try to mount a late charge, or is that car's handling going away from him a little bit? Either way, the 30 and the 48 side by side all the way down the front stretch.
Ooh.
Heading down into turn 1, they make contact.
Hold on to it.
The
Yes.
48 able to hold on to it. He makes a nice save, but that is going to cost him a ton of track position.
Ton of track position, and those tires are going to be angry with how hard these guys are racing and trying to save that car, but fantastic save by Francis Hamilton. And like I said, a lot of these guys are racing sick out here. Hunter Johnson being especially aggressive, just trying to get a win. You can see him getting very, very loose. I'm surprised he is able to hold on to it, but with 8 to go, 7 to go now, these guys elbows out. The aggression has picked up. Brody Falliker, he is in tune to get a race win here tonight. He does have 2 wins, if I'm not mistaken, so far this season.
Yeah, another driver who's entering the, I don't think he's close enough to battle for the win, but Joseph Turley has made a move around Micah Allard, maybe a little bit of contact there, but he has moved into the 5th position, so a good run for Turley. But again, the 42, he is looking to the inside of the 30 of Johnson. A much smoother pass than it was for the 48 of Hamilton.
Contact.
The 48 of Falliker. Oh no, they make contact again. The 30 is playing with fire as much as he has bounced off of these drivers and is in danger of getting moved here.
Yeah, I mean, he is absolutely just squeezed these guys up and down the track. The 48 looks like he's trying to make it 3 wide as he's going to take the high side. He dives it down low. He looks like these guys are just going to go for everything as we are coming down. 5 to go in this race here at Michigan. This is the penultimate race. Only 4 move on. Brody is a playoff driver. Francis Hamilton in that 48, a playoff driver. 42 gets spun by the 30.
Gosh.
Caution.
Wow.
How you doing in there, kid?
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
I wouldn't be too happy. I mean,
you can't, that is, yeah, that's
Hunter
crazy.
Johnson crashes, it jumps to pits. Just unfortunate, you know. There's aggressive and then there's too aggressive.
He was throwing blocks down the backstretch. You're racing for the win. But yeah, that's crazy. The 30 goes flipping. The 97, we had just talked about him having an excellent run. His car is absolutely destroyed. The 42 destroyed, and this completely wrecks whatever the 48 strategy was, which was looking like a winning strategy there. And it's crazy.
Yeah, you know, there is a fine line of, you know, let's race for a win and let's just act a little crazy with it. And I think that was a little over the line here. So it's just, I'm gutted for Brody.
Yeah, it's tough. And the thing is, like, he's trying to bump draft him. He's trying to push him, but you just can't do that in these cars on this game. It just doesn't work. And we've seen it cause issues even at plate tracks where it's, you know, commonplace. And then, but you're in the middle of a curved corner at, you know, 190 miles an hour. That isn't gonna work out.
Cocker's still on pit lane. It looks like he's trying to fix his machine. Brody Falliker, let's take a look at where he is. He's currently sitting 7th as he makes his way down pit lane. A lot of damage on that front end. It's just going to be tough to try to get it to do anything for the remainder of this race. He sits P8, but he's got a huge hill to climb to make it into the top 5 for this race here. Francis Hamilton stays out. Jose Ruiz in 2nd. Jarek Hardwell, he sits 3rd.
Yeah, the 4 got a tiny bit of contact in that, maybe a little netcode contact. It didn't sound like he had any damage, and the car looks all right, but might be slightly injured in that wreck. But yeah, everybody coming to pit road and getting some fresh tires on the car. Meanwhile, you have the 48 who is out of tires, apparently. The 23, the 12. We've seen them do some alternate strategies. Just a wild finish here that triggered by an accident racing for the win.
Justin Anasagak safe. You see the playoff standings right here. He's safe with the win. Brendan Book plus 25. Brody Falliker, who was just involved in that, positive 25 above the cutoff. Jimmy Cocker, who was on pit lane, he was positive 22. Meanwhile, Francis Hamilton, who will be leading us back to green, he was 22 below the cutoff as we head into the race tonight. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer minus 35. Luke Allen minus 40. Josh Taylor, who is now out of the race, he will not be moving on to the final four.
Involved in an early accident that actually did not bring out a yellow, but did damage his car significantly, and he retired that machine. This is going to be an interesting restart. We have 3 drivers on old tires up there, and then the 4 and the 61 are the first 2 in each row on fresh tires. I'm trying to think of what your strategy would be if you're Hamilton. If maybe you want to take them to the green up against the wall as far as you can, pitch the 23 up to the wall, try to box the 4 car in, but then that allows the 61 a lot of room to potentially take it 3 wide on the 12 of Cardwell. So just kind of a
tough spot.
You just kind of got to decide where you think the most ground is going to be made, and you're going to want to try to fade toward that direction and try to get the field to kind of bunch up with you and keep those lines so they can keep these guys boxed in as much as possible. But I think this might be a restart where you want to take it near the wall. That's just my opinion. I don't know if that's wrong or right, but I think that gives him the best chance to hold on for this green-white checker.
Yeah, he's going to really have to hold on, and unfortunately he's got no teammates up here currently. So you see quite a few playoff drivers. You got the 4 car behind him, Justin Anasagak. We have Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Brennan Book, who is currently in 10. So they are kind of spread out. Matthew Gale in the 67. Oh, man. Well, we'll see what happens, but this is coming down to the wire in the 48. He's got a lot to hold on to right now.
Yep. He looks like he's going to take the middle. We're about to go green.
Here we go. A nice start by him. Jose Ruiz on that top side. Jarrett Cardwell on the bottom. Micah already pushing Jarrett Cardwell. He's in that 61. The 4 car taking a look up high. 48. He's going to bring it high. 3 wide for P2. Going to 4.
Yeah, not taking it 3 wide, but getting a great run into turn 1. They're getting super loose. The 4 almost loses it. The 12 almost loses it. The 61 in alongside the 48. He's going to have the run going into the corner. What's the 00 going to do?
Micah out in the lead. The 48 under attack by that 4 machine. It gets huge momentum on the outside. Meanwhile, they're 3 wide. The 81, the 12. You can see it behind here. They're going to fall back. The 8 into the grass.
Big wreck.
I think we're under.
Oh,
Wow.
man. That is... Goodness gracious. What happened there?
3 wide, and people getting just spun. Brody Falliker involved in that, I do believe.
Oh, yeah, the 5 made an incredibly aggressive move and turned into the 67. And yeah, he killed the 8 and turned the 67 and killed a lot of people.
Go back and see a couple at man. And on my screen it says that the white flag came out and then the yellow, but we saw differently. So, man, that is just so tough. Jordan said it right there. Final race before the championship race. These guys were 4 wide, and it's just so tough. Everyone going for that spot.
It is tough, but I mean, yeah, your race car drivers are aggressive. You want to get the best, but you gotta keep your head on your shoulders.
Absolutely.
A little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's. I mean, it's just it comes to a point where you don't have any respect for the people out there on the racetrack with you, but. I mean, sometimes it's just harmless mistakes. Sometimes it's just not caring. I think this this caution is just a little bit of aggression. It made just a mistake, but still, it's a pretty bad one. But yeah, then the yellow flag that caused all of this, just it pretty unnecessary. It's just yeah, it's a tough way to finish what was looking to be an excellent run to the end there with three guys looking to be on top of each other for the win, and now we're in the field randomizer portion of the event.
Yeah, Micah gonna be leading us back to green. Justin still hanging out there, sitting P2. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in third. We have Francis Hamilton still holding on. He's sitting P4. Thomas Harmon, we've seen him up front here a couple of times. He is out here currently in the top 5, 17 spots up. For Smith in that 81, sitting P6. Luke Allen, another playoff driver, and his race has not gone well tonight, but man, he has fought and fought. Qualified well. He was up in the 4th, I do believe. He currently sits P7. All right, 10th caution of the night. A couple of those have been for stages, but man, oh man, a very aggressive race here tonight. Very loose. And seeing how loose it is here and knowing how loose it gets at Homestead, I think it's going to be a wild ride next week.
Yeah, hopefully it's a much cleaner wild ride. If it's a wild ride because we see 2 and 3 wide action and not, a bunch of crashes. But yeah, Homestead's a track that lends itself to good racing, multi-grooved. You can run pretty much anywhere you want on the racetrack. A lot of drivers are gonna lean toward the bottom lane to save tire, is kind of typical with a race on iRacing. But it's gonna be interesting to watch for sure, and I'm excited. But we still have 2 laps, maybe more, to decide tonight's event.
Hopefully not. Hopefully this is it. I know a lot of drivers are hoping to make it in that final 4, but only 4 will remain out of 8. Next week, we will crown a champion, so this race right now means everything to several drivers. A lot on the line. Top row, the front row will be Micah and Justin Anasigak. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Francis Hamilton behind them. Thomas Harmon, Forrest Smith, Luke Allen, and Tom Flitcroft. And running out the top 10 is going to be Mike Papa Bear Campbell and Connor Cunningham. Pace car goes in, and we're getting ready to go back to green, hopefully for the final time tonight here at Michigan International Speedway.
Green flag.
Green flag, and things are going to get a little crazy. That 4 car, not a great restart. The 48 trying to go anywhere he can. The 81 just right behind him. Very close quarter racing right now.
Yeah, huge out of the 00. Got a really good restart. Able to clear the 4. Now he's going to try to get a good run on the 61. Use that outside lane. Micah giving him that top lane. That's weird. A big block. Loses it just a little bit. Able to catch it, but very aggressive and a curious decision to give the 00 the high lane. Now he is stuck on the bottom, getting loose, trying to keep off of him. That's going to allow the 00 to take the lead as he slides in between the 4 and the 00. Micah Allard watching his race slip away as we take the white flag.
White flag, and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in the lead. Micah going side by side with Justin Anasigak and Thomas Harmon directly behind. But man, oh man, a lot going on out here and not a lot of cars out on track as
a big crash in the back as they are side by side for second.
Luke Allen involved, Francis Hamilton involved as he is spinning. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer still in the lead. Will he take the win? Micah spinning him, coming to the line. Thomas Harmon, will he take it? No, Justin Anasigak, he takes the win. Thomas Harmon in second, Forrest Smith in third. I don't even know what to say about this race. Micah Allard fourth, Connor Cunningham finishing out fifth tonight.
That is...
I'm speechless.
Wow.
Absolutely speechless.
Yeah, that is bad. Yeah, Yeah, that's that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's again, like, it comes down to the whole having no respect for anyone else on the racetrack, and you know, my my I know Micah. I've met him in person. Not a bad dude, but yeah, that's just not what you want to see. That's, I mean, he flat out dumped the 00 for the win, and that's yeah, that's crazy. A playoff driver in the 00, and again, you know, you don't want special treatment or whatever, but I mean, it's at some point you got to have respect for those guys, and wow, that's two really bad wrecks to end this race that really had no business happening.
Yeah. Here we go. Justin Anisigak getting another win here this season, and he was already locked in to Homestead. Insane race. Justin, we talked to you tonight. You had a great car, a lot of speed. Take me through the final laps.
I was very content on third, but I'll take it. uh, yeah, I just wish we would have had more green flag runs tonight. I know the car was loose, but it wasn't that loose. It was controllable. It's just dependent on how you drove it. But yeah, I had fun just having fun out there. Didn't have anything to worry about. Had fun racing with everybody tonight, and yeah, I don't know what to say about the ending.
Ending was pretty wild. Third race win of the season. So you've just been phenomenal out here in the Xfinity series. 2 wins to lock you in to Homestead. So I got to ask, how do you feel about Homestead?
I love Homestead. For some reason, I always run good there. I don't know about the Xfinity car, but all the other cars besides the next gen cars, I always run good there. So it should be fun. I don't know who's all in the final four yet, so happy to be with those guys racing for a championship next week.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations and enjoy that win.
Hell yeah.
All right. Jordan, we got second place in his first race of the season. It's going to be Thomas Harmon.
Yeah, we have Thomas Harmon. We unlocked the basement. We were keeping him in all year and let him see the sunlight, and he survived the carnage and the awful racecraft we saw in the final, 15 laps there, 10, 15 or so, and came up with a second place finish. So talk about your night and the final laps and what it was like getting back out on track with these guys.
Well, just like the start of the race was pretty scary, especially at the end there with everybody getting, well, I'll just say they were getting stupid, especially the last lap, but that's, another day. But yeah, it was nice to get back out there and nice to drive. I enjoy Michigan. I got off sequence with the tire strategy, and that kind of hurt me when we actually did get a decent run. Kind of put me back outside the top 10, but those cautions, as much as I love to benefit from them, they sucked. That was about it.
Yeah, he came back for racing again. I asked this question a lot, but what are these races like where it's just so difficult? You're having to chase the strategy the entire time and just pick the right time to have good tires on it, and you can't really get momentum going. You're wanting to get settled in, and you just really can't because you're restarting, every 5-10 laps.
Yeah, I made a comment about that. I think on second to last time I took tires. I said, well, about 10 laps we'll get another caution, and then if it all goes perfectly, about another 10 laps we'll get another, and I'll be set up for the finish.
Well, that is Thomas Harmon, usually playing eye in the sky. Tonight, he will come home with a P2 finish. Over to you, Frozen.
In third, we have Forrest Smith gaining 20 spots over the race tonight. Take us through yours. I know you've climbed a little bit of an uphill battle. Take us through your race. You got a copy, Forrest? We'll try it again. Give him a second. But yeah. Forrest Smith, he gained 20 spots. Forrest, you got a copy? I hear something. All right.
Mr. Excitement with our least exciting interview of the season. Oh, there he is.
We got him. We got you, Forrest.
All right.
How was your race tonight? You gained
Sorry
20
about that.
spots. We know it was a wild race. Take us through yours.
Well, it was definitely exciting, and Mr. Excitement was there. It was wreck filled to begin with. It was very loose at the beginning, and then there's this battle of restarts trying to gain position from there.
Yeah, definitely. Trying to gain positions. How tough was it? I saw you guys going 3 and 4 wide. How tough was it to make it around others?
Well, it was definitely tough. There's multiple strategies as the race progressed. I was able to save a set for basically like the last two restarts, but it was a challenge coming from the back of the pack up towards the front, and then when we've got people that are definitely restart heroes, it's a lot more challenging when it's a wide track like this. You're trying to stay in your lane, but you're 4 or 5 wide here.
Absolutely. Well, this is your second win of the season. You had it at Talladega a few weeks ago. How do you feel about Homestead next week?
I felt good about Homestead, but I don't think it's my second win.
Or, yeah, you didn't win tonight. Sorry. My bad. Yeah, I'm still blown away by the finish here. It's just, I'm processing everything. But yeah, a solid finish, top 3 tonight. So I hope you do well at Homestead. But you do have a win, and it was at Talladega.
Yes.
All right, guys, that is it from us tonight. Next week, we will be crowning a champion, and we are at Homestead Speedway. Tonight was loose. I would imagine next week, I've ran it before, but it's been a while, and I haven't done it in Xfinity cars. It's always been loose, so we're gonna have to find out what kind of conditions these drivers are gonna be in. But Jordan, tonight was a wild one.
Yeah, it was a wild one, and we thought we saw how that was going to end, and we had no clue. That race got completely flipped on its head. At the end of the day, Justin Anasagak able to come home with the win. Once again, maintaining some momentum heading into the finale. So we'll see how that happens. We'll see who our 4 championship drivers are, and hopefully we can all keep our heads on our shoulders next week.
All right, guys, that's it for us tonight. We'll see you guys next Monday, 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great night